Take a slow breath in, as if drawing soft moonlight into your chest, and exhale gently, letting the day slide away like a ribbon released from your fingers. Notice your shoulders settling with the weightless comfort of a favorite blanket. Feel the softness beneath you, supporting you perfectly. Another breath in, unhurried, peaceful and out, longer than the inhale, as though you're sighing open a small window into the quiet night. Let your jaw loosen, let your brow smooth. Imagine the soles of your feet glowing with a gentle warmth, as if they've been resting near a hearth. With each breath, your body feels heavier, calmer, safer. You are cared for here. You are welcome here. The world is kind and unhurried, and you are exactly where you need to be. Now picture a path appearing in your mind, a pale ribbon of sand curving into an evening forest. The sky wears a twilight blue, soft as velvet, with a scattering of early stars. You take your first step onto the path, and the air itself seems to greet you with a cool, tender touch, scented faintly with rain-kissed leaves, wild mint, and the clean sweetness of moss. The hush is deep but friendly, like a quiet library at closing time. Every sound a distant owl, the hush of a breeze, the soft tick of dew collecting on a leaf, arrives as a calm invitation to slow down. Ahead, the old oak trees gather like gentle elders, their branches sweeping low in fatherly arcs, their trunks wide and steady. Their bark is a tapestry of grays and browns, the kind of texture you could trace with your fingertips and feel 1,000 seasons living in it. You sense, without words, that these oaks have stood here for a very long time, noticing travelers, sheltering birds, watching moon phases turn and turn again. They recognize you now. Perhaps they have always known you. You feel this welcome as a soft warmth in your chest. The path glows faintly with dusted light, as if fireflies have ground their lanterns into the sand. When you look closely, you see tiny crescent shapes in the grains, pale as milk. You wonder if the moon has been leaving little notes for the forest all this time, and only quiet eyes can read them. You step slowly, letting your feet roll from heel to toe. With each step, your shoulders loosen a little more. Your breathing follows the pace of your footsteps, easy, even, unhurried. A small wind moves through the canopy, and you hear a layered rustle, the high whisper of new leaves, the deeper murmur of old ones, and beneath it all, the steady breath of the forest floor. The oaks creak softly, a sound you instantly love, like a rocking chair on a wooden porch. The scent of the air shifts, a memory of rain, a hint of clover, the earthy sweetness of damp soil cooling after a warm day. You pause to feel the world tilt toward evening. Somewhere, water is talking a brook, perhaps speaking in a language made of silver and stones. You smile, not needing to understand the words to receive their comfort. Along the path, a plush bed of moss spreads in inviting patches, braided with delicate ferns and starry white wildflowers that open only when the moon is near. One flower leans toward you as if it wants to see your face, and when you lower your gaze, you notice a droplet of dew resting in its cup, a tiny moon captured in water. The sight slows your breath even more, and you feel the gentle hum of gratitude in your ribs. Gratitude for the quiet, for the softness, for the way the forest makes time expand like a deep, warm pool. As you continue, the oaks begin to arch overhead, their branches lacing together to form a vaulted ceiling of leaves. The light underneath is green and gold, then gradually blue and silver, as evening gathers itself. In this cathedral of branches, you hear a silken flutter. A tawny owl drifts from one bough to another, its wings as silent as the turning of a page. It regards you with eyes the color of honey tea and gives a nod that feels like a blessing. You nod back, smiling, thanking it for sharing this sanctuary. A little further along, you notice a figure sitting on a low drift of roots. A fox, small and bright, with a coat like embered leaves. Its eyes are calm, liquid with kindness. It tilts its head, as if to ask, "Are you comfortable?" You realize that you are. The fox rises and pads beside you, not too close, but close enough that you feel accompanied. You sense that this is a forest where everyone keeps a courteous distance, yet remains beautifully together, a place of gentle companionship. The path widens slightly and leads you to a clearing that looks like a memory of childhood summers. A round, grassy room edged by oak trunks, with the sky looking in like a friendly face. At the center stands the oldest oak of all, its trunk vast and deeply furrowed, its roots like sleeping whales. The air near this tree feels a little cooler, a little brighter, as if the sun has left a few coins of warmth on the bark and the moon has draped silver ribbons among the higher leaves. You approach the oak with an instinctive softness. There's no need to rush. One hand reaches out to touch the bark, and beneath your fingertips is a calm that seems to travel up your arm and down your spine, soothing you from the inside out. The fox circles the oak once, then sits, tail wrapped neatly around paws, as if introducing you to a friend. You whisper hello, and though the oak does not speak with words, you feel something like a note ringing inside you, a low, resonant tone, like a single string on a cello, humming with peace. The note spreads through your chest and then your breath, and as you inhale, the hum rises lightly. As you exhale, it settles and lengthens. Soon, you find a natural rhythm, your breath braided to the oak's deep music. On the far side of the clearing, you notice the source of the water you heard before. A small brook slides between stones, the water pale as sky milk. It makes a soft, tinkling sound, like porcelain teacups kissing. You walk to its edge and kneel. The brook gathers starlight in tiny eddies. You cup your hands in the water and feel a gentle coolness, the kind that refreshes without startling. When the water runs through your fingers, your thoughts seem to flow with it, any remaining edges of the day smoothing, any clutter drifting downstream. Beside the brook, a flat stone waits like a seat prepared for you. As you sit, the stone is perfectly warm, as if kept for you by the last rays of the setting sun. You lean back slightly, listening. The forest sounds settle into layers, the owl's soft repositioning somewhere above, the fox's small exhale, the water's lacework chatters, the leaf murmur overhead, and then the smallest sound, a delicate tapping, like a tiny spoon on glass. You glance down and discover a beetle, green as a polished gem, tapping its antennae against a drop of water that clings to a blade of grass. You watch, delighted by the precision of its tiny world. The longer you look, the more your attention becomes gently singular. You feel wonderfully unhurried, as if there are entire oceans of time tucked inside each second here. When you lift your gaze, you realize the clearing has brightened in a new way. Little lights hover near the moss fireflies waking from their diurnal dreams. They rise like quiet thoughts, drifting up and pausing, then blinking softly, as if they're practicing their first words for the night. One drifts close to you and hangs in the air like a punctuation mark, at the end of a grateful sentence. You breathe toward it, a slow exhale, and it answers with a calm glow before floating toward the old oak, where several others are beginning to gather like tiny lanterns in a festive garland. You feel the tender tug of drowsiness at the edges of your mind, not sleep yet, but a consent to softness, the way paper relaxes under the palm of a hand. The fox stands and stretches, then looks toward a narrow path stitched with fern and forget-me-not. It takes a few steps, then glances back at you, as if to say, there is more to see. You rise easily, leaving the warm stone and the brook's porcelain music, and follow at a pace that keeps your breath smooth and even. Under the oaks, the path becomes springy with pine needles and old leaves worn to velvet. The air holds a quiet herbal sweetness, chamomile and thyme somewhere nearby, perhaps growing wild. You imagine a cottage tucked just out of sight, with a kettle always singing, and a door that never needs a lock. You don't see it tonight, but you sense its kindness, like a neighbor you haven't met yet who already likes you. The fox pauses where the path passes through two oaks so close, their trunks almost touch, forming a friendly doorway. As you step between them, the air feels like a cool ribbon across your forehead, and a hush falls, a softer hush than before, if such a thing is possible. Here, the leaves seem to carry a faint shimmer, not bright enough to startle, just enough to suggest that moonlight has taught them a secret dance. You notice, with a gentle kind of wonder, that your steps make almost no sound now. It's as if the forest wants to carry your weight for a while, letting you drift like a note held by a loving musician. A patch of clover spreads to your right, its pale blossoms tipped with silver. You bend to touch one and feel the petals cool satin under your fingertip. Where your skin meets the flower, you sense again that low, friendly hum, like the oak's resonance passing through the entire forest in a web of music you can only partly hear, yet wholly feel. The sound inside your chest answers, and for a long, easy moment, you and the forest breathe together. When you straighten, the owl glides down to perch on a curved branch just ahead, close enough that you can see the delicate scallop pattern on its feathers. It blinks slowly, the way someone nods when they understand. The fox sits beneath the owl's branch, and you stand between them, the three of you forming a brief, perfect triangle in the gentle dusk. In this shape, you feel thoroughly safe, thoroughly welcome, like a guest who has been anticipated and prepared for with the best cups, the softest chair, the sweetest tea. Another breath in, another breath out. The night gathers a little deeper around you, all velvet and silver. You know, without needing to say it, that the path will continue, leading you toward new clearings, new small miracles, the soft unfolding of more kindness. And for now, with the fox watching over your steps and the owl keeping time, you are ready to follow. The air is cooler now, wrapped in the soft hush of evening. You feel it brush against your skin like a silken shawl, comforting and light. The old oaks stand behind you, their broad canopies sighing in a rhythm so steady, it seems to carry your own breath along with them. With each inhale, you draw in the sweet earthiness of moss and leaf. With each exhale, you let go of any heaviness clinging from the day. The fox walks just ahead, its tail swaying gently, a living lantern of russet and gold. You follow, your steps slow and unhurried, as though the very ground beneath you wants you to rest. The path narrows, weaving between ferns whose fronds sway with an invisible current. Each frond is tipped with tiny droplets of dew, glowing faintly as though they have borrowed their light from the moon. Some droplets slide free and fall soundlessly, leaving trails of shimmer like soft brushstrokes on a dark canvas. You pause a moment to watch one tumble, spinning and catching the firefly light as it falls, and you marvel at how the smallest things can hold entire universes of calm. Soon the path bends, and you hear again the silver voice of water. The brook flows here, broader and brighter, spilling over a low bed of smooth stones. The sound is different now, less a trickle, more a melody. It ripples and rises like soft chimes in the distance, and the closer you step, the more you hear layers within it, a gentle gurgle beneath, a faint hiss at the edges, a hollow thrum where water slips under driftwood. Together, these voices make a song so soothing it could be mistaken for a lullaby. The fox leads you to a spot where a fallen oak lies across the brook, its trunk wide and covered in moss. It is an easy bridge, softened by years of rain and leaf fall. The fox steps onto it with the ease of long practice, paws moving silently across the green velvet surface. You follow carefully, but the log holds you steadily, as though it has been waiting for your crossing all this time. Beneath you, the brook swirls, catching reflections of stars now multiplying above. You pause midway to look down. The sky and water are stitched together here, like a quilt of silver and blue, and for a moment you feel suspended between heaven and earth. On the other side, the path opens into another clearing, and here the forest reveals a quiet wonder. Tiny lanterns, no taller than your knee, dot the moss in a wide circle. Their glass is misted and pearly, and their flames are soft as candlelight, but glow in shades of pale gold, lavender, and sky blue. You realize quickly that these are not lanterns made by hands, but flowers, strange, magical blossoms that lift their petals like glass domes, each holding a tiny bead of light at its heart. Their glow sways gently in the night air, as if bowing in greeting. The fox sits at the edge of the lantern field, watching you, eyes calm and steady. You step among the blossoms, careful not to disturb them. The air is thick with their perfume, sweet and faintly spicy, like honey stirred with cinnamon. Each breath you take seems to wrap around your chest, loosening you further, lulling you into stillness. You kneel by one and place your palm near the glowing petal. The warmth it gives off is delicate, like the heat of tea rising from a cup. You smile, and the glow brightens a fraction, as though the flower is responding to your presence. As you move deeper into the field, you notice a small figure perched atop one of the lantern blossoms. At first, you think it is a firefly, but when you look closer, you see tiny limbs, delicate wings, and a face like a pearl. A little sprite, no bigger than your thumb, blinks at you with eyes shining like dew. It tilts its head, then lifts one finger to its lips in a gentle hush, as though reminding you that this place is meant for quiet peace. You nod softly, promising your stillness. The sprite smiles, then drifts upward on wings like gossamer threads, leaving a faint trail of golden dust that vanishes into the air. The fox rises again and pads through the lantern field, guiding you toward a second path. This one is narrower, winding between close oaks whose branches bend low, forming a tunnel. You follow, and the lantern flowers seem to lean toward the path as you pass, lighting the way with soft pulses of color. The brook follows along as well, weaving beside you, its silver voice never fading. The tunnel of trees opens at last into another quiet meadow, where the brook widens into a shallow pool. Here, the water is glassy, reflecting the stars so perfectly it feels like a second sky has spilled onto the earth. Lily pads float upon its surface, and each bears a glowing pearl of light, softer than moonshine. They bob gently, moving in time with the water's subtle breaths. You kneel by the edge and touch the pool with a fingertip. The water greets you with cool silk and ripples spread outward, making the stars tremble as though laughing softly. A frog, smooth and green, hops onto a nearby lily pad and croaks once, the sound mellow and round, like the lowest note of a flute. Its eyes meet yours, and for a moment you sense its calm patience, the easy rhythm of a creature that knows the value of stillness. The fox settles near your feet, curling into a crescent of warmth. You take a long breath in, filling yourself with the perfume of moss, water, and flowers, then release it slowly, watching the ripples fade. Time here feels endless, as though the night has no hurry to pass. You let yourself sink into the meadow's quiet embrace, knowing the forest will hold you gently and that the path will wait for you when you are ready to continue. The stillness of the pool lingers within you as you rise, leaving the lily pads glowing gently behind. The fox stretches, arching its back like a ribbon unrolling, and then takes the lead once more. You follow, your steps soft, as though the moss beneath your feet wishes to carry you forward without a sound. The brook meanders off into shadow, but above you the moon climbs higher, weaving its way through the branches. It glows like a lantern hung in the heavens, painting the oaks with silver. Every twig, every leaf, every pebble along the path is brushed with this moonlight, as if the forest itself has been carefully polished for your arrival tonight. The path brings you to a wide meadow, framed by ancient trunks on every side. It is not a meadow of open grass alone, but one alive with tiny blossoms, soft blues, creamy whites, and faint lilacs. The blooms seem to sway though there is no wind, turning their faces upward to the stars, as if listening to something only they can hear. Fireflies weave among them, blinking in unhurried patterns, like gentle thoughts drifting through a half-dream. At the meadow's center stands a circle of stones, half sunk into the earth. They are not large, no taller than your knee, but each is covered in moss, so thick it looks like emerald velvet. When the moonlight touches them, you notice faint carvings etched deep into their surfaces, spirals, arcs, and star shapes, smoothed by centuries yet still visible. You don't know their meaning, but you feel them like a lullaby sung in a language you once knew as a child. The sound is not heard, but felt, a vibration in your chest, coaxing your breath to slow further, guiding you into restfulness. The fox walks calmly into the stone circle and curls upon the moss, its tail covering its nose. You step closer, and as you do, you notice the ground here is softer, springier, like walking upon a bed made of the forest's tenderest thoughts. You lower yourself gently, letting your body be cradled by the earth, and look up into the clear, endless sky. Above, the stars spill in great rivers of silver. They shimmer so brightly that for a moment you cannot tell where the sky ends and your thoughts begin. The longer you gaze, the more they seem to move, not hurriedly, but with a slow, drifting grace, like lanterns carried on a still lake. The constellations feel close, almost friendly, as though bending nearer to listen to your quiet heart. A soft rustle draws your eyes downward. From the edge of the meadow, a pair of deer steps carefully into view. Their coats glow pale in the moonlight, like cream brushed with silver dust. They move slowly, pausing often, their hooves pressing the earth with reverence. The larger one, a stag with antlers like branching ivory, lowers its head toward you. Not a bow, not quite, but a recognition. You feel no fear, only warmth spreads through you, as if you have been seen and welcomed. The deer graze quietly at the meadow's edge, unbothered by your presence. Their steady rhythm adds to the symphony of peace. The sigh of grasses, the firefly's silent blinking, the fox's deepening breaths, and the distant murmur of the brook. Somewhere close, you hear a nightingale begin to sing. Its voice is liquid, tender, carrying notes that rise and fall like water over stones. The song drifts into the meadow, threading itself through the stars, through your thoughts, through your very breath. You feel yourself melt into it, each note smoothing away another fragment of tension, leaving you lighter, quieter, more complete. As the song continues, a soft mist begins to form across the meadow floor. It curls around your ankles, cool but gentle, glowing faintly with captured moonlight. The mist doesn't hide the flowers or the stones. It seems to reveal them, making the world look like a dream you have always carried within you. You let yourself lean back fully now, supported by the moss, your body heavy in the best way, like a candle melted into the shape of its holder. The fox shifts in its sleep, sighing softly, and the sound feels like a lullaby all its own. You close your eyes for a moment and let the meadow's voice seep deeper. The hum of carved stones, the nightingale's tender notes, the whisper of deer moving gently. It all blends into a single, endless comfort. When you open your eyes again, the stars seem brighter, closer still. You could almost reach up and gather one into your palm, but there is no need. Their light is already pooling around you, folding over you like a blanket stitched from moonbeams. You take a breath, long and steady, and the forest breathes with you. Another breath, slower, deeper. The meadow sighs in time. Everything here, the fox, the deer, the blossoms, the stones, moves with the same rhythm, the rhythm of rest, of stillness, of safety. The path onward waits at the far edge of the meadow, just beyond the mist. But, for now, you linger, cocooned in the hush, letting the night cradle you. The journey continues, but only when you are ready to rise. The meadow still hums softly behind you as you rise, leaving the stone circle in its embrace. The fox stretches and shakes itself awake, its fur catching a pale shimmer in the moonlight. It trots a few steps ahead, then waits for you with quiet patience, as if it understands that your body, too, has grown heavier and slower in the loveliest way. You follow, each step measured, as though the earth itself is encouraging you to walk with reverence. The mist from the meadow thins, parting like a curtain, as you step back beneath the boughs of the forest. Here, the air grows cooler still, laced with the scent of pine and damp moss. You notice how your breath fogs just slightly in front of you, rising like a tiny cloud before fading into the night. Above, the branches knit together, forming a darkened corridor, but soft glimmers appear ahead, guiding you onward. As you near, you realize these are lanterns, hundreds of them suspended in the air, as though the stars have descended to hang between the trees. They are not crafted of wood or glass, but seem woven of light itself, their shapes gently shifting, almost alive. Some are round like orbs of starlight. Others are long and oval, like glowing seed pods swaying on invisible strings. The light they give is tender, in hues of amber and pearl, casting warm ripples against the trunks and leaves. The fox steps confidently into their glow, and you follow, entering a tunnel of luminous lanterns. Each one sways slightly as you pass, as if acknowledging you. The hush of the forest here is thicker, but not oppressive, more like the stillness of a library filled with quiet wonder. You sense that this is a place meant to hold dreams before they are born, a hallway where wishes pause before stepping into the world. The path beneath your feet changes. Where once it was moss and earth, it now becomes wood-smooth planks, fitted together, their surface worn satin by countless steps. A bridge, you realize. The lanterns mark its length, strung in arches overhead like garlands. Beneath the bridge, you hear water moving, not the soft chatter of a brook this time, but a deeper, more deliberate current. You pause to look down through the wooden slats. Below, a wide river moves slowly, carrying reflections of stars and lanterns alike. The surface gleams dark as ink, yet holds trails of light, winding like molten silver across its breadth. The current's sound is low, steady, almost like the purring of a giant, gentle creature. It fills the air with calm strength, and you find yourself breathing in its rhythm. As you continue across the bridge, you notice the lanterns change color. At first amber, they now pulse with soft shades of lavender, sea green, and pale rose. Each hue brings with it a new feeling. Lavender brings quiet clarity, sea green, a wash of freshness, pale rose, a tender warmth. You let the colors move through you, each breath drawing them in, each exhale carrying away another thread of weariness. Midway across, you pause. The fox has stopped too, sitting on the smooth planks, its eyes reflecting the lantern's shifting colors. For a long moment, the two of you sit in silence, listening to the river's murmur below and watching the lanterns sway. The world seems to hold its breath with you, as if this moment, this pause between steps, is sacred. Then faintly, you hear music, not loud or insistent, but delicate, like a harp plucked by a soft breeze. The notes drift from somewhere ahead, winding through the lanterns like silver ribbons. Each sound is perfectly placed, filling the air with an otherworldly peace. You follow it, your pace slow, and with each step the music grows a little clearer, though never intrusive, just enough to keep you curious, just enough to soothe you further. At the far end of the bridge, you see its source. A figure sits upon a stone bench carved into the riverbank, cloaked in folds of midnight blue. The figure holds a harp no larger than a child, its frame etched with curling patterns of silver. The strings glow faintly as slender fingers move across them. Though the figure does not look directly at you, you feel acknowledged, included in the music. The fox pads to the figure's side and curls up, as though they are old companions. You approach quietly and sit upon a patch of moss nearby. The music continues, surrounding you, weaving through the lanterns, settling into the river's current. You close your eyes for a while, letting the harp's lullaby blend with the rhythm of your breath. Each note seems to loosen another knot in your mind, until your thoughts are as smooth as the wooden planks of the bridge behind you. When the song drifts to silence, the figure rises without a word and steps into the shadows, vanishing among the trees as though absorbed back into the night. You feel no loss, only gratitude. The fox lifts its head, stretches, and returns to your side, ready to guide you onward once again. The lanterns ahead thin, their light dimming into the deeper dark of the forest, where new wonders surely wait. You take one last look, at the river below its silver trails, winding into forever, before stepping forward, carried gently by the glow. The lantern bridge fades behind you, its glow receding like a tender memory. Ahead, the forest grows deeper, the oaks taller, their branches interlaced so thickly that only slender beams of moonlight slip through. The fox moves silently beside you, its paws almost soundless on the mossy floor, and you find your own steps naturally following, its rhythm slow, quiet, reverent. Here, the air changes. It feels thicker, like velvet drawn across your skin, and carries with it the cool fragrance of damp bark and wild thyme. You pause for a moment and listen. At first, there seems to be only silence. Then, as you tilt your head, you hear it, a soft echo, faint but distinct, repeating the sound of your breath. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, each cycle mirrored back to you, but gentler, more stretched, like a lullaby, echoing across a canyon. The forest itself seems alive with this echo. When the fox exhales in a tiny sigh, the sound ripples outward, returns softer, like a mother repeating her child's words with affection. Even the creak of branches overhead comes back in hushed replies. It is as if the forest has chosen to keep you company, answering everything with kindness. The path bends into a grove where the ground is soft with pine needles, forming a natural carpet that muffles each step. In the middle of the grove, a cluster of stones rises, worn smooth and pale. You notice shallow grooves along their sides, channels where rainwater has run for centuries, leaving dark streaks. Yet, in the moonlight, these streaks gleam like silver threads, as if the forest has embroidered them for you tonight. You sit upon one of the stones, and the echo responds at once. A faint hum, low and steady, reverberating beneath you. It's not loud. You feel it more than hear it, like the distant vibration of a gentle drum. With each breath you take, the hum deepens, aligning itself with your chest, until you and the stone seem to share the same heartbeat. The fox circles once, then curls at your feet, its eyes close, ears twitching faintly at the whispers of the forest. You lean back slightly, palms resting on the cool surface of the stone, and let the echoes carry you. A breeze stirs the leaves above, and the sound joins the conversation, rippling outward in waves. The echoes return. It's softened, layered, as though countless voices are repeating the forest's sigh. The effect is mesmerizing, like listening to a choir where each voice belongs to the air itself. Then you notice something small and glowing at the grove's edge. A cluster of mushrooms grows in a crescent near the roots of an oak. Their caps are pale, almost translucent, and from their undersides drips a faint light, like candle wax turned to silver. When the wind moves, the mushrooms sway ever so slightly, and the light shifts in rhythm, casting rippling patterns across the stones. The echoes seem to follow this rhythm too, elongating and softening in time with the glow. You rise and walk toward them, drawn by their quiet magic. Kneeling close, you see the mushrooms up close, their stems etched with delicate threads, their caps cool to the touch. When you hover your hand just above one, you feel a faint warmth, as though the glow itself has temperature. The echo greets your movement, sending back the faintest tone, a note so soft it seems stitched into the silence. The fox watches calmly, tail flicking once, as though it too is accustomed to the forest's wonders. You smile at it, then slowly stand, letting the echoes fall into a new pattern around you. Beyond the grove, the path leads deeper, where the trees grow wider apart, opening into an avenue of oaks whose trunks shine faintly in the moonlight. Their bark gleams silver gray, and each step you take sends out an echo that glides along the avenue, bouncing gently from tree to tree. The sound doesn't vanish but folds back, weaving itself into your ears like a lullaby sung by the forest itself. You notice that as you walk, the echoes begin to harmonize. Your footsteps return not singly, but as chords, soft layers building upon each other. The effect is so calming that you begin to step in rhythm, creating a melody between your body and the earth. The fox seems to notice this too, for it matches your pace, its paws adding their own gentle percussion. Together, you create a song with the forest, one that never hurries, one that always returns. Far ahead, the avenue glows faintly brighter. You sense another clearing, waiting, another moment of quiet revelation. The echoes guide you toward it, each step answered with patience, each breath mirrored with care. And so, you walk onward, wrapped in sound and stillness, each echo like a soft hand, leading you deeper into rest. The echoes of the oak avenue linger behind you, fading gently into silence as the path bends once more. The fox moves with unhurried grace, its fur brushing against low ferns that glow faintly in the moonlight. You follow, each step careful and steady, your breath naturally slowing to match the rhythm of the night. Ahead, you notice the air begin to change. It shimmers slightly, as if laced with tiny crystals. A faint glow ripples through the undergrowth, not from lanterns, nor from the moon above, but from countless tiny sparks drifting in the air. Fireflies more than you have ever seen rise from the grasses and moss, lifting their tiny lanterns into the night sky. The glade you step into is alive with them. Fireflies hover at every height, blinking in patterns both random and deliberate. Some glow, long and steady, like floating candles. Others pulse in soft rhythms, weaving together into a silent song of light. They drift through the trees, leaving trails like brushstrokes across the darkness, until the whole space feels painted with golden threads. The fox pauses at the glade's edge, its eyes reflecting the firefly's glow. For a moment, it looks as though the creature has stars caught in its gaze. Then it pads forward, unafraid, the tiny lights parting gracefully to make room. You follow, your arms brushing through the glowing air, each touch releasing a faint shimmer, like sparks dissolving into your skin. In the center of the glade lies a shallow pool, round as a mirror. Its surface is perfectly still, reflecting not only the fireflies, but also the stars above, so that the glade feels doubled, one world above, one below. You kneel beside it, and as you gaze into its depths, you see not only light but also your own reflection, softened and luminous, as though the forest itself has wrapped you in its glow. The fireflies seem drawn to the pool. They gather above it, forming spirals, circles, and gentle lines that drift across the water's reflection. For a moment, it looks as though they are drawing constellations upon the surface, stitching sky and earth together with their gentle lanterns. The sound here is tender. Crickets sing softly in the grasses, and the brook you left behind whispers faintly somewhere beyond the trees. A night breeze stirs, cool and sweet, carrying the fragrance of clover and damp moss. When it passes over the pool, the surface ripples slightly, scattering the reflections into shimmering fragments like scattered gems. You lower your hand to the water, letting your fingers brush against its surface. It is cool, refreshing, but not sharp, more like the softness of rain just fallen. The fireflies above answer by glowing brighter for a heartbeat, as though acknowledging your touch. Their rhythm slows, becoming steadier, calmer, until the whole glade seems to breathe with you. The fox settles beside you, its warmth grounding you against the night's cool. It watches the fireflies with quiet fascination, its ears flicking only occasionally, relaxed and still. You rest your hand on its back, and its fur feels thick and soft, carrying the faint scent of forest earth. The moment deepens, stretching like a comfortable silence shared with a friend. Then, as you lift your eyes, you notice something new. At the far side of the glade, between two great oaks, an archway of branches rises, twined with vines and flowering creepers. It glows faintly, not with fireflies this time, but with blossoms themselves, each petal holding a pale, moonlight gleam. The arch feels like an invitation, waiting patiently, offering the promise of further wonder. You breathe in, slow and steady, letting the glow of the fireflies settle inside you. The glade has given you its gift of light, of calm, of belonging. Now, the path ahead calls gently, urging you to continue. The fox rises, tail swaying, and glances toward the archway. It waits, as though making sure you are ready, and you are. You stand, feeling the forest's glow still within you, and step toward the waiting gate of blossoms. The glade of fireflies lingers behind you, its glow like a memory stitched into your chest. Ahead, the archway of blossoms rises tall and inviting, its vines heavy with flowers that shimmer like droplets of moonlight caught in petals. The air beneath the arch feels different, lighter, touched with the faint fragrance of jasmine and wild rose. Each breath you draw in carries that sweetness, soothing you further, as though you are drinking in calm itself. The fox trots forward, passing under the arch. Its fur glows faintly as though brushed with silver pollen from the blossoms. You follow, and as you step beneath the archway, you feel something soft fall across your shoulders. A petal drifts down from above, cool against your skin. The moment you touch it, you hear a faint sound, a single note, clear as glass, struck gently by a fingertip. You pause, listening. The vines above rustle, and more petals drift down white, pale pink, soft lavender. Each petal that lands upon the earth releases another tone, delicate and pure, until the air is filled with the softest of music. It is not loud or sharp, but hushed, a symphony woven from falling petals and whispering leaves. The forest beyond the arch is alive with this sound. The oaks here are slimmer, their branches lifted high, and each leaf shivers with a faint, harmonic hum. When the breeze stirs, the leaves sing together in long, low chords, harmonizing with the petals' notes. It feels as though the entire forest has become an instrument, playing a lullaby just for you. You walk slowly, every step matched to the rhythm of the music. The fox keeps close, ears twitching to the sound, eyes half closed in comfort. The path winds gently, lined with ferns and pale flowers that sway as though bowing to the music. You notice how your breathing naturally aligns with the forest's song. Each inhale a chord, each exhale a gentle rest. Overhead, fireflies drift in again, their lights flickering in time with the melody. You tilt your head back and watch them weave patterns, glowing in gentle syncopation, like notes written in the air. For a moment, You feel as if you are walking inside a living lullaby. Each element, petals, leaves, wind, fireflies, woven together in perfect harmony. The path widens into a circular glade where a single tree stands at its center. This oak is not as vast as the elders you passed before, but its trunk gleams with a faint golden light, as though it has been kissed by sunlight, even in the heart of night. Its branches spread like arms, heavy with blossoms that release a steady rain of petals. The ground beneath it is carpeted with them, soft and thick, glowing faintly where they overlap. You approach and step onto this petal carpet. The sound deepens instantly, the tones of falling blossoms rising into a slow, layered chord that seems to sink into your very bones. You lower yourself to the ground, letting the petals cradle you, as if you've lain down on the softest of beds. The fox curls at your side, half buried in petals, eyes glowing faintly in the golden light. The tree above creaks gently, its branches swaying in a rhythm too slow to be rushed, and the forest's music continues, notes falling, chords stretching, harmonies weaving into silence. You close your eyes. The petal's touch is cool against your cheek, the scent sweet and calming. You feel as if you are wrapped in the song itself, each breath a part of its melody. For a long, timeless moment, you allow yourself to drift, your body sinking, your thoughts smoothing like ripples fading from a pool. When you open your eyes again, the moon has shifted higher, painting the clearing with a silver glow. The golden oak seems even brighter now, its light reaching out like soft hands, illuminating a path beyond the glade. The petals stir as though encouraging you to rise, to follow where the song leads next. You stand slowly, brushing petals from your shoulders, though many cling softly as if reluctant to let go. The fox rises too, shaking itself free in a small flurry of glowing fragments. Together, you turn toward the path beyond the golden oak. Ahead, the forest waits, still humming, still welcoming, and you step forward, carrying its music within you like a heartbeat. The golden oak fades behind you, its petal song lingering in your ears like a tender echo. The path winds onward, narrower now, bordered with moss so soft it seems to glow under the moonlight. The fox moves ahead with quiet confidence, tail swaying gently, as though it too is guided by something larger than sight. As you walk, the trees begin to shift. Their trunks rise taller, their branches stretch wider, and the canopy above slowly opens. The dark corridor of oaks gives way to a clearing where the sky reveals itself fully vast and deep, scattered with countless stars. You stop for a moment, your breath catching in wonder. It feels as though the heavens have unfurled just for you, a tapestry of light stretched across eternity. The stars are brighter here than anywhere you've seen. They shimmer not only above but seem to pour their glow downward, washing the clearing in silver. The air itself feels lighter, almost sparkling, and each inhale fills you with a weightless calm. The fox pads into the center of the clearing and sits, gazing upward, as though it too has been waiting for this view. You follow and lower yourself onto the grass, which is thick and cool, smelling faintly of wild mint and chamomile. Lying back, you let your body relax fully into the earth's embrace, arms loose, breath slow. The sky fills your vision until nothing else exists. At first, the stars seem scattered, a chaos of light. But as you soften your gaze, you notice patterns forming, constellations emerge, some familiar, others strange but comforting. You trace them with your eyes, feeling as if they are telling stories just for you. One looks like a ship, with sails of silver drifting across the sky. Another resembles an open book, its pages glowing with celestial ink. You sense that each constellation carries a dream, waiting quietly for someone to notice. A breeze stirs, carrying the cool touch of night, and the stars seem to respond. They twinkle more brightly, pulsing in time with the rhythm of your breath. The longer you watch, the more you feel that the sky itself is breathing with you. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, an endless cycle of shared calm. Then, a soft glow appears among the stars. At first, you think it is a particularly bright one, but soon it grows larger, descending slowly. A star, or perhaps something like one, drifts down toward the clearing. Its light is gentle, pale gold, and it moves with the grace of a feather on the breeze. The fox lifts its head, ears perked, watching intently. The star lowers until it hovers just above the grass. Up close, it looks like a crystal orb filled with swirling light. It hums faintly, a sound that vibrates not in your ears but in your chest, smoothing your heartbeat, lengthening your breath. You reach out and without fear place your hand near it. Warmth radiates from the orb, tender as a candle, steady as the forest's embrace. For a moment, the orb lingers with you, its glow mingling with the silver of the moonlight. Then, as gently as it came, it drifts upward again, rising back toward the heavens. You watch as it climbs higher and higher, until it is once again just another star among countless others. Yet, you know it has left something with you, a quiet spark, a light you now carry inside. The fox curls beside you, resting its head against your arm. You close your eyes, and for a long while, you simply breathe beneath the starlit canopy, feeling the vastness above and the steadiness below. You are held perfectly between earth and sky, safe and whole. When you open your eyes again, you notice a path at the far edge of the clearing. It glows faintly, lit by pale blossoms that line its edges like lanterns. The forest is inviting you forward once more, to follow where the stars have pointed the way. You rise slowly, still carrying the sky's calm within you, and with the fox at your side, you step onto the glowing path, ready to see what dreamlike wonder lies ahead. The glowing path carries you forward, its pale blossoms releasing a faint perfume of lavender and honey. The fox pads beside you, its tail brushing lightly against the flowers, stirring tiny clouds of glowing pollen that drift in the air like sparks. Each breath you take draws in their fragrance, filling your chest with warmth and ease, as though the night itself is steeping you in calm. The trees ahead lean back, and you hear the faint murmur of water once again. This time, it is different, higher, lighter, almost musical. The sound is like 1,000 tiny chimes, ringing in harmony with one another. Your steps quicken slightly, drawn toward the melody, until the forest parts and you arrive at its source. A narrow stream winds through the trees, its surface glimmering like liquid silver under the moonlight. But what makes it wondrous are the flowers that line its banks. They are shaped like small, delicate bells. Their petals are translucent white. Each blossom sways gently, and with every movement, it produces a soft, ringing tone, clear and light, like crystal tapped with a fingertip. Together, the blossoms form an endless, rippling chorus, the stream carrying their music along its length. The fox steps close to the bank and sits, ears turning this way and that, following the delicate notes. You kneel at the edge, dipping your hand into the cool water. The stream responds by carrying a shimmer of moonlight across its ripples, and the bellflowers chime brighter, as if greeting your touch. The sound is so tender, so precise, that you feel it brushing against the very edges of your thoughts, smoothing them, quieting them, until nothing remains but stillness. You follow the stream for a while, walking slowly along its bank. The bellflowers continue their song, their tones shifting with each breeze, creating new harmonies as though improvising just for you. At times, the music is a cascade of tinkling notes. At others, a single, steady tone, long and low, vibrating in your chest like a soft hum. At one bend in the stream, you find a wooden footbridge arched across the water. Its planks are worn smooth, polished by time and countless steps. Lantern moss clings to the railings, glowing faintly green. As you cross, the stream's music rises beneath you, filling the air like a lullaby lifted higher, cradling you in sound. You pause midway, resting your hands on the railing, and simply listen. The bell song blends with the water's gentle current until the two are inseparable, one continuous voice of the forest. On the far side of the bridge, a willow tree leans over the stream, its long branches trailing in the water. Tiny bellflowers cling to its drooping leaves, and as the branches sway, they add a deeper, rounder tone to the chorus. Like a cello joining a choir, you sit at its roots, leaning back against the trunk. The wood is cool but solid, grounding you as the music swells around you. The fox curls at your feet, its breathing deep and even, already lulled by the sound. You close your eyes and let the music fill you. Every note seems to sink deeper, untangling the day's last knots from your body and mind. The sound becomes the rhythm of your breath, the beat of your heart, the very silence within you. When you open your eyes again, the stream continues its endless song, flowing onward, inviting you to follow. A path glows faintly beside it, lit by clusters of bellflowers whose chiming tones lead the way like a trail of silver music. You rise gently, brushing your hand once more against the willow's bark in gratitude. The fox stirs and joins you, shaking its fur before padding ahead. Together, you step onto the glowing path, the bell song following you, carrying you deeper into the enchanted forest. The path follows the chiming stream, its silver song weaving into every breath you take. Each note feels like a lull, a reminder that this forest is alive and always watching with kindness. The fox pads ahead, glancing back now and then, its eyes glimmering with reflections of the flowers' soft glow. Soon, the trees draw back once more, and you arrive at a wide opening where the stream broadens into a graceful river. The water here moves slowly, like glass sliding over stone, carrying the moon's reflection in a shimmering ribbon. Across it stretches a bridge. Unlike the simple wooden crossing you found before, this one is wondrous. The bridge is made of pale stone, smooth and glowing faintly, as though carved from moonlight itself. Its arches rise gently, elegant as a swan's neck, and lanterns of crystal hang along its length, each one pulsing with a soft, silvery light. They sway slightly in the night breeze, sending ripples of brightness across the water below. The fox steps onto the bridge without hesitation, its paws silent against the cool stone. You follow, and the moment your foot touches the bridge, you feel a hum beneath you, low, steady, like the beating of a heart. It is not frightening but deeply comforting, a reminder that the bridge itself is alive, carrying you safely over the water. As you walk, the river below seems to change, no longer only reflecting stars. It begins to shimmer with images, dreams drifting upon its surface like films of light. You see visions of gentle things, a child's laughter echoing in a sunlit meadow, a cottage glowing warmly in the rain, deer resting beneath tall ferns, a library with shelves that reach into the clouds. Each image rises, lingers for a moment, then dissolves back into the flow, as if the river is carrying the dreams of the world. The lanterns above flicker in time with these visions, their silvery glow brightening as each dream drifts past. You slow your steps, savoring the stillness, letting the river show you these fleeting gifts. The fox pauses too, its gaze fixed on the shimmering water, ears forward in quiet awe. Halfway across, the hum beneath your feet deepens, and the air grows softer, almost velvety. A hush falls, even the stream's song quieting, until there is only the faint pulse of the bridge itself. You notice then that the lanterns above are not just swaying randomly, they are aligning, forming arcs that mirror constellations in the sky. Stars above, lanterns on the bridge, and their reflections in the river all come together, encircling you in a triple canopy of light. You pause, surrounded, as if standing at the very heart of the night. For a moment, you feel weightless, your body dissolving into the glow. There is no separation, only the vastness of sky, water, and light, and your breath moving gently within it. The fox presses close to your leg, reminding you that you are still here, still safe. Its warmth grounds you, anchoring you in this dreamlike place. You rest a hand on its back, feeling its steady heartbeat beneath your palm, and together you step onward. On the far side of the bridge, the path continues, lined with tall grasses that sway like waves in the moonlight. Their tips glow faintly blue, as though brushed with stardust, guiding the way. The river drifts quietly behind you now, carrying its dreams downstream to places unseen. You take one last glance back at the bridge, its arches glowing, lanterns shimmering and smile. It feels less like leaving and more like carrying a piece of it with you. The hum still lingers in your chest, a steady, soothing rhythm. The fox leads you into the tall grass, its tail brushing lightly against the glowing stalks. Ahead, the path curves toward new wonders, waiting patiently in the silver hush of the forest night. The tall grass sways gently around you, each stalk shimmering with a pale, silvery blue glow. The air is filled with a soft rustle, like countless voices murmuring together in harmony. It is not loud, not insistent, but steady, like a lullaby, woven from the breath of the earth itself. The fox walks ahead, its fur brushing lightly through the grasses. Each touch seems to stir a brighter glow, until the path behind you trails with faint sparks, as if the night is recording your steps in gentle light. You follow slowly, letting your hands drift at your sides, fingertips grazing the cool stalks. Their touch is soft, almost feathery, and each brush carries with it a whispering tone, delicate and fleeting. As you move deeper into the meadow, the whispers grow clearer, not words exactly, but something close. You realize that the grasses are singing. Each stalk holds its own note, and together they create an endless song, shifting with the breeze, rising and falling in quiet harmonies. It is a song without beginning or end, as old as the forest itself. You pause to listen, Closing your eyes, the sound surrounds you, folding you into its rhythm, and for a moment, you feel as though you are swaying along with the grasses. The fox sits nearby, ears flicking, head tilted as if listening too. The two of you are small figures in an endless sea of light and song, safe and welcomed by the meadow's embrace. At the center of the meadow rises a gentle hill, round and smooth, like a cushion draped in silver. You climb it slowly, the grasses parting easily before you. At the top, you find a circle of stone markers, much like those you saw earlier in the oak grove, though smaller and more delicate. Each stone hums faintly, resonating with the song of the grasses. When you place your hand upon one, the hum deepens, echoing softly in your chest. From this height, the meadow stretches wide in every direction, glowing grasses rippling like waves across a silver sea. Above, the sky is so open, so vast, that you feel as though you could fall upward into it, drifting among the stars. For a while, you simply sit, breathing slowly, letting the meadow's song carry you into stillness. The fox curls beside you, tail tucked neatly, eyes half closed. Together, you rest in silence, and the world seems to stop. There is no past or future here, only the gentle, now your breath, the song of the grasses, the vastness of the sky. Then, softly, you notice something new. Fireflies rise again from the grasses, not scattered as before, but moving in unison. They drift upward in spirals, glowing in time with the meadow's song. Their lights shimmer in patterns, forming arcs and shapes like constellations brought down to earth. You watch, enchanted, as they weave a path of light leading toward the far edge of the meadow. The song of the grasses seems to swell, urging you gently onward. The fox rises, ears alert, and looks toward the glowing trail. You take one last breath of the meadow's perfume, a blend of lavender, chamomile, and the faintest sweetness of clover, and stand, carrying its calm within you. Together, you descend the hill, following the firefly's spiral path. The grasses part easily, their whispers softening as you pass, as though bidding you farewell with tenderness. Ahead, the edge of the meadow glows faintly, with the promise of new wonders waiting in the deeper forest. The meadow's whispers fade behind you as you follow the spiral trail of fireflies. The fox pads just ahead, its russet coat now carrying faint flecks of glowing pollen that shimmer like tiny stars. The air shifts as you step into the shelter of trees once again, cooler, denser, filled with the quiet anticipation of hidden wonders. The path narrows, lined with roots that curl like gentle fingers across the soil. Moss carpets every surface, thick and soft, glowing faintly green in the moonlight. The hush here is deeper than before, but not empty. It is the kind of quiet that waits, holding its breath in expectation. Soon, you notice faint glimmers between the trees. At first, you think they are fireflies again, but their light is steadier, sharper, like stars caught in glass. You step closer, and the forest reveals a grove unlike any you've seen. Crystals rise from the ground in clusters, tall and slender, some clear as ice, others tinted in hues of rose, sapphire, and pale amber. They catch the moonlight and scatter it across the grove in shimmering patterns, painting the ground and trunks with fractured rainbows. The fox pauses at the grove's edge, ears flicking, as though listening to something you cannot yet hear. Then you notice it. The crystals are singing, not with voices, but with tones long, resonant hums that vibrate in the air. Each cluster produces its own note, and together they form a chorus, rich and deep, yet soft enough to soothe every corner of your mind. The sound seems to enter not only your ears, but your very bones, calming you from the inside out. You step into the grove slowly, and the tones shift. The crystals nearest to you brighten and change their pitch, responding to your presence. Each step you take creates a new harmony, as though the grove itself is welcoming you with music written just for this moment. At the grove's center stands the largest crystal of all, rising taller than the oaks around it. Its surface is smooth, glowing with a pale silver light that seems to pulse gently like a heartbeat. You approach and place your hand upon it. The crystal is cool beneath your palm, but within seconds, warmth spreads from its core, traveling up your arm and into your chest. A single, low tone rises, steady and pure, and you feel your breath fall naturally into its rhythm. The fox curls at the base of the crystal, resting quietly, as though it too is soothed by the harmony. You lower yourself to the mossy floor and sit with your back against the glowing surface. The hum surrounds you, cradling you in sound and light. For a while you simply breathe, your eyes half closed, your body heavy and comfortable. Time feels suspended, as though the grove has drawn a protective circle around you. When you finally lift your gaze, you notice something astonishing. The crystals have thrown their light upward, and in the canopy above, the branches and leaves glitter as though dusted with stars. The entire grove has become a universe, with you at its center, held gently in its luminous embrace. You know it is time to move on when the hum softens, fading to a quiet background tone, like the last echo of a lullaby. The fox rises and shakes itself, then looks toward a narrow opening between the crystal clusters. Beyond, you see the faint glow of moonlight guiding the way. You place a hand once more upon the central crystal, in gratitude, feeling its calm pulse one last time, then step forward. The fox leads you out, and the grove's light lingers behind, like a lantern you now carry within. Ahead, the path curves toward deeper shadows, promising more secrets, more tenderness waiting in the night. The crystalline tones fade softly behind you, melting into the night until they are only a memory, humming faintly in your chest. The path ahead narrows once more, lined with moss and low ferns, their fronds brushing gently against your arms as you pass. The fox trots ahead with quiet certainty, tail swaying like a lantern in the dark. Soon, you hear again the sound of water. This time, it is not the chiming of silver bells or the deep current beneath a bridge, but something homelier, gentler, a brook gurgling and laughing over smooth stones. Its voice is playful, steady, like a friend humming while preparing tea. The trees thin, and the path opens onto a small clearing where the brook winds lazily. Moonlight gathers on its surface, and beside it stands a cottage. You pause, surprised, yet comforted, as if the cottage has always been waiting here, ready to receive you. Its walls are built of pale stone, softened with ivy, and its roof is thatched with moss and straw that glows faintly under the moon. Tiny windows gleam with golden light, and smoke curls from a crooked chimney, carrying the faint scent of wood and herbs. A wooden door stands slightly ajar, and from within spills a warm glow that mingles with the night's silver hush. The fox pads to the door and waits, glancing back at you with expectant eyes. You step closer, feeling the warmth even before you cross the threshold. Pushing the door open, you enter into the gentle embrace of the cottage. Inside, everything glows with a golden softness. A fire crackles low in the hearth, its flames steady and calm, releasing the scent of pine and cedar. Shelves line the walls, stacked with jars of dried herbs, bundles of lavender, and candles waiting to be lit. A small table holds a steaming teapot and 2 cups, as though prepared for your arrival. The fox leaps gracefully onto a rug near the fire and curls into a ball, its eyes already drifting shut. You smile, feeling safe, and lower yourself into a chair by the table. The wood is smooth and worn, shaped perfectly to hold you in comfort. You pour the tea, and its fragrance fills the room. Chamomile, honey, and a hint of mint. The first sip warms your throat, then spreads through your chest, melting the last remnants of wakefulness into ease. The fire pops softly, a sound like quiet laughter, and the brook outside continues its endless song, weaving in harmony with the room's warmth. For a long while, you simply sit, sipping tea, watching the fire. The flames cast gentle shadows on the walls, dancing slowly, never hurried. The air is heavy with calm, and you feel your body sinking deeper into rest with each passing moment. Beside the hearth sits a wooden chest, its lid carved with vines and leaves. Curiosity draws you to open it, and inside you find soft quilts folded neatly, their fabrics smelling faintly of lavender. You take one, drape it over your shoulders, and sink back into the chair. The weight of it is perfect, light enough to comfort, heavy enough to ground you. The fox stirs, sighs deeply, and tucks its nose into its tail. You mirror it, closing your eyes for a moment, letting your breath fall in rhythm with the fire's gentle crackle. The cottage seems alive around you, humming with the same protective calm as the oak trees, the crystals, and the meadow. Eventually, you rise and step toward the door. You leave the quilt draped over your shoulders, carrying its warmth with you. Outside, the brook greets you again, its voice cheerful in the moonlight. The cottage glows softly behind you, a promise that it will always be there should you wish to return. The fox stretches, shakes its fur, and stands ready once more. Together, you follow the brook's winding path deeper into the forest, the night opening before you, like a book with more pages waiting. The brook hums softly beside you as you and the fox wander onward, its voice steady and bright, like a companion walking just out of sight. The quilt around your shoulders holds the cottage's warmth, carrying its memory with you, while the cool night air brushes gently across your cheeks. The path winds deeper into the forest, where the trees grow taller and older still. Their trunks are immense, their bark thick and furrowed like the wrinkles of wise elders. The air here is hushed, reverent, as though every branch and leaf knows you are nearing a place of great importance. At last, the brook veers away, slipping into shadow, and the path opens into a vast clearing. Before you stands a circle of ancient oaks, 15 in all, each one towering, their branches stretching high to cradle the stars. Their trunks are so wide, it would take many arms to encircle even one, and their roots rise from the ground like frozen waves, interlacing to form natural seats and alcoves. The fox pads into the circle and sits at its center, waiting for you. You step forward slowly, your feet sinking into the soft moss that carpets the ground. The air here is thick with stillness, yet it is not empty. It vibrates faintly, filled with the presence of countless years. As you cross into the circle, Something shifts. The oaks seem to awaken. Their branches creak softly, and leaves whisper, though no breeze stirs. A deep, resonant hum rises, not from any one tree, but from all of them together. It is a sound older than words, older than memory itself, a note of welcome, of recognition. You lower yourself onto the moss at the circle's heart. The fox curls beside you, tail tucked neatly, eyes half-lidded. Around you, the oaks sway gently, and their hum deepens into harmony. The sound fills the clearing, weaving itself through your breath, your heartbeat, until you are part of their song. Above, the branches intertwine to form a natural dome. Through its openings, you see the stars glowing more brightly than ever, as if they too are drawn closer by the oak's song. Fireflies drift into the clearing, blinking slowly, adding their small lanterns to the great cathedral of night. One oak, taller and broader than the rest, begins to glow faintly along its trunk. Lines of light trace its bark like veins, spiraling upward into its branches. You feel drawn to it, so you rise and place your hand upon its surface. The bark is rough, yet warm, pulsing faintly under your palm. A wave of calm flows into you, spreading through your body in gentle currents. Your shoulders loosen, your jaw softens, your breath deepens. The oak seems to whisper directly into your chest, not with words, but with feeling, safety, belonging, rest. You are part of this forest, as much as moss, brook, and sky. When you step back, the glow of the oak lingers in your vision, and you realize the entire circle is now softly illuminated, each tree shining as though lit from within. The clearing feels alive, awake, a sanctuary of peace. The fox lies down fully, head resting on its paws, already lulled by the oak's hum. You join it, lying back on the moss, eyes gazing up through the woven branches. The stars above pulse gently in time with the tree's low song, as though the entire universe is breathing with you. For a long while, you rest there, suspended between earth and sky, your body cradled by moss, your mind held in the oak's endless embrace. Everything is still, everything is safe. When you finally rise, the hum softens, as though the oaks are bidding you farewell with patience and kindness. A narrow opening appears between two trunks, glowing faintly, inviting you onward. The fox lifts its head, stretches, and falls into step beside you. You glance back once more at the circle, carrying its peace with you, and then step through the opening, ready for where the path will lead next. You step beyond the circle of ancient oaks, the fox walking quietly at your side. Behind you, the hum of the trees lingers like a final chord, a sound so low and steady it seems to live inside your chest. Ahead, the forest path narrows into one last passage, lined with ferns and flowers that glow faintly, as though lit by hidden lanterns. The air is softer here, filled with the faint fragrance of honeysuckle and cool moss. A breeze stirs gently, brushing your cheeks like a tender hand. With each step, you feel your body grow heavier, in the most comforting way, as though the earth is inviting you to rest. The fox pads a little ahead, its paws making no sound on the moss. Its tail sways slowly, like a pendulum marking time. You follow, your breath matching its rhythm. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, until the whole world seems to move in that same steady cycle. Soon, the trees part for the final time, and you arrive at a clearing bathed in moonlight. At its center lies a pool, perfectly round, its surface smooth as glass. The stars above are mirrored in its depths, so that it looks like a second sky has fallen to earth. The pool is ringed with stones, covered in velvet moss, forming a natural circle of rest. The fox circles once, then curls into a ball at your feet, its eyes glowing faintly before closing in trust and calm. You lower yourself onto the moss, lying back so the sky and its reflection surround you. It feels as if you are floating between two heavens, stars above, stars below, safe and weightless. The sounds of the forest gather softly around you, the distant murmur of the brook, the faint whisper of leaves high in the oaks, the occasional blink of a firefly's wings. Each sound is small on its own, but together they weave into a lullaby, a tapestry of peace that wraps around you. You close your eyes, and the forest continues to hold you. The moss beneath you is cool and yielding, cradling you perfectly. The quilt from the cottage still rests on your shoulders, warm and grounding. The hum of the oaks, the chiming of the bellflowers, the whispers of the meadow, they all live inside you now, woven into your breath, your heartbeat, your very being. You feel yourself drifting, your thoughts loosening like leaves falling gently into water. Each inhale gathers the calm of the forest. Each exhale releases what remains of the day. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. The rhythm carries you deeper, softer, until there is nothing left but stillness. The fox sighs beside you, a soft, contented sound, and you smile faintly, eyes closed. You know you are safe, surrounded by kindness, wrapped in the gentle arms of the enchanted forest. And so you drift, deeper and deeper, the forest's lullaby, guiding you into the quietest, most soothing sleep. The oaks will watch over you, the brook will sing to you, and the stars will shine above you forever, a part of this peaceful walk beneath the old oak trees.